Well, the building that the Bertrand bookstore occupies was actually built in 1732, and this is the only store that has ever occupied these retail spaces. There's one of my favorite Portuguese treats, pastelas. I just love pastelas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Rare Book Cafe, Coffee Break Edition. I'm Lee Linn from the Ridge Books in Calhoun, Georgia, coming to you today with my frequent co-host, Richard Mori, who is with...
Me.
No. What is your business, Richard? You have a business, Richard.
Richard Mori Books. Lee.
Very good.
Richard Mori Books from New Hampshire. Today, though, coming from the cold state of Florida.
And I'm coming from the colder state of Georgia. We were 16 degrees here in North Georgia last night.
Yeah, you got
which is unusual, but that's very unusual. But today, we are also going to be joined by our former, much beloved co-host, Ed Markiewicz of Montgomery Rare Books, who is traveling in Portugal at the moment. And he is going to be, while he's on his travels, our roving reporter, coming to us from bookstores and collectors and wherever he goes.
He's putting me to shame. I thought I was the traveling guy, and here he is in
I know,
Portugal.
and I seem to be the stuck in one place person. But, we'll see. So we hope you enjoy our video that Ed has sent us, that he recorded in Lisbon, Portugal, just this week, I suppose.
I think it was. And
Yes.
it's exciting, actually.
It is the oldest bookstore in the world, continually in operation.
And visited by what? The oldest bookman in the world? I mean,
I don't know about that. I think Ed has found his new youth lately.
Yes.
So anyway, we hope you enjoy the video, and we'll be back with you at its conclusion.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rare Book Cafe, the book lovers' rendezvous. I'm Ed Markiewicz, your roving co-host reporter, and here we are in Lisbon, Portugal, sitting outside the Brasilia Cafe. This cafe was the first place that brought Brazilian coffee to the continent, and they sure drink a lot. Anyways, I'm sitting here at this table with my good friend, Fernando Paseo. Fernando was one of the literary figures of the first half of the 20th century. He was born in 1888, and shortly after that, when he was only 1 year old, his father died of tuberculosis. His mother remarried the Portuguese consular to South Africa, and off he went to Durban, where he very quickly and very presciently learned the English language. At the age of 17, he boarded a boat and headed back to Portugal and began his writing career. He died very young at the age of 47 in 1935, some say of cirrhosis of the liver. People here in Portugal are very proud of their wine, and sometimes very proud of how much wine they can drink. Fernando was a very prolific writer, and he could be found all over the city and here in Lisbon, whether it's coffee shops or bars, have a testament to the time he spent in public, either writing or discussing philosophy with his fellow literati. Fernando was not only a poet, but he was an editor, a publisher, and very well known in the literature world. While he was alive, he only published 2 small volumes of poetry. But when he passed away, they found 25,000 manuscript pages in a dome-top trunk in his apartment. And it took years to go through that amount of writing, and many of it has been turned into very prolific and very wonderful literature. Now, right down the street from here is the oldest bookstore in the world. So what do you say, Fernando? Shall we go down and take a look? All right, as promised, here I am standing out in the rain in front of the Bertrand Bookstore, founded by the Bertrand brothers in 1732. There's 4 Bertrand bookstores here in Lisbon, but only one of them is the oldest, and it's this one. Let's go inside and poke around. And just in case you thought I was pulling your leg, right here at the entrance of the bookstore is a certificate from the Guinness Book of World Records establishing the Bertrand Bookshop in Lisbon, Portugal as the oldest bookstore in the world. As you can imagine, most of the books in here are in Portuguese. It's a lovely store with wooden bookshelves from the floor to the ceiling. But they do have a great English section. Let's go on back and take a look. Here in the bookstore are 6 wonderful rooms. The new release room, translated Portuguese authors, Portuguese literature, biographies, history, culinary books, science, math, human sciences, law, teaching, resources, childcare, parenting, and then, of course, the Fernando Pessoa room. And before we're done, we're going to stop in the coffee shop. The architecture here is just brilliant, with each room having arches at the entrance and the exits into the room beyond. Well, the building that the Bertrand Bookstore occupies was actually built in 1732, and this is the only store that has ever occupied these retail spaces. All great bookstores have a great cafe, and as you can see, this one has a mural of Fernando Pessoa on the wall. The cafe isn't very busy today, but there's one of my favorite Portuguese treats, pastelas. I just love pastelas. And here we are in the Books in English section of the Bertrand Bookstore, and as you can see, there's quite a number of copies of contemporary authors as well as some of the classics. Right around here from the corner of the postcards, you can see some more shelves of English. And I think I'm going to pick me, as you've been listening to the show for a while, you know that I'm more of a nonfiction guy, and I think I'm going to get me a copy of Papyrus by Irene Vallejo. One of the fun things they do here at Bertrand is stamp your book so you'll know that it was bought in the oldest bookstore in the world. Doot, 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 doot. And we're gonna, and there it is. And rightly so, on this January 20th, the day of inauguration, my book goes into a George Orwell bag with the quote, "Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past." Keep that in mind, folks. Well, if you're like me and you're watching this show, I know you are. You never tire of visiting bookstores. And with a copy of Fernando Pessoa's poems over my left shoulder, it's time to leave the store, head back out in the rain. Thanks, everybody, for joining me today, and I hope you too someday get a chance to visit Lisbon, Portugal, and the oldest bookstore in the world, the Bertrand Brothers. Bye-bye.
I hope everyone enjoyed that video. One thing we noticed, there didn't seem to be our favorite locations in that bookstore, the antiquarian section, the used book section, and the collectibles section. And we're sure if they had been there, Ed would have talked his way into them. Don't you think so, Richard?
Well, I actually, maybe it was behind that false wall that I saw.
Yeah. That you push the book and the swings out.
Yeah, he just didn't share it with us. That's all.
He didn't. We just No telling what he came out of that bookstore. We saw the one paperback he bought, but no telling what else he came out of the bookstore with. But anyway, we hope to have more dispatches from the roving reporter in the weeks to come. So join us, and we'll watch for where Ed goes next.
And we'll be saying, where in the world is Ed?
That's right. But we know where we will be in just a few weeks. We will be.
I think I know.
Where will we be?
Could it be St. Petersburg? Wild guess.
It could be, and not St. Petersburg, Russia.
No, St. Petersburg, Florida. At the Coliseum, March 1st and 2nd, Saturday and Sunday, 2 days of great books for wonderful customers.
Great, you got it all right.
Don't figure that one.
Yeah, that is. So anyway, if you can join us there, we would love to see you. And we also will be having guests here on Rare Book Cafe who'll be coming to the show as well. And it'll be your opportunity to see what kind of treasures you might find at this year's show.
And we know that you can find us where all great podcasts are shown: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever they are, we will be there.
We will be there, and we are sponsored by the Florida Book Fair. And so we hope you'll be able to join us there. But at any rate, stay tuned for more wonderful things from the bibliosphere.